Created by cartoon veteran Loren Bouchard, Bob's Burgers mixes silly stories, puns, heart, and music to make for a truly original and wholesome viewing experience. Get ready to dive between the buns because we're taking a look at the untold truth of Bob's Burgers. The way a TV show gets made is pretty straightforward and difficult. A writer comes up with an idea for a show, writes a pilot script, and if they've got enough credits and clout in Hollywood, they've got an agent, and that agent gets the pilot into the hands of the executives at TV networks, who decide what shows they want to make. This is not how Bob's Burgers originated. Creator Loren Bouchard was actually approached by Susanna Makos, the executive vice president in charge of comedy at Fox, and asked to create an animated series for the network. Makos was working on developing another animated series and was looking at demo reels by animation houses. One of them included some clips of Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil, a macabre comedy that had briefly run on Adult Swim. Makos liked the animation fine, but what she really liked was the show. She thought it was funny and had an assistant track down its creator, Loren Bouchard. He was living in San Francisco at the time and flew down to meet with Makos about making a show that same day. Because cartoons are so expensive and complicated to produce, some will forego making a complete 30-minute pilot in favor of a pilot presentation, a short, roughly animated film of just a few minutes that gives network executives a good idea of what a completed series would feel like. Bouchard and producer Jim Dothreve made one such pilot presentation for Fox. Fox Entertainment head Kevin Riley liked the overall concept and feel of the show, but he had some notes. Among them were that the three kids' personalities were not unique enough from one another. At that time, the Belcher kids consisted of one girl, Louise, and two boys, Gene and Daniel. While Bouchard had to admit that Riley was correct, neither he nor Fox wanted to let go of Dan Mintz, who played Daniel. The solution? Change Daniel to a girl named Tina, keep Mintz in the part, and don't have him change his voice or approach to the character at all.
I'm no hero. I put my bra on one boob at a time like everyone else.
The last thing that Bouchard had worked on before Bob's Burgers was Lucy, Daughter of the Devil for Adult Swim. That show was about the battle between good and evil, and so at the time, Bouchard had trained himself to skew his comedy on the more twisted side. That led to a very dark initial premise for Bob's Burgers. The Belchers were going to run a burger joint, but they were cannibals. Bouchard explained, "I had this kind of more occulty sort of darker edge to the way I was thinking then. Ultimately, Fox loved everything about the show, except the cannibalism." Susanna Makos talked Bouchard out of it, pointing out how difficult it would be to do, quote, 100 episodes worth of cannibal jokes. Elements of the original concept remains. Mort's funeral home next door was possibly going to be a meat supplier for Bob's Burgers. The very first episode even plays homage to the original premise.
Why'd you get run out of Bog Harbor?
For selling human flesh to the restaurants. I'm kidding, people! Come on!
The voice cast of Bob's Burgers was initially populated by veteran professional comedians and voice actors, but that's not the case for the actor who landed the role of boisterous, prone to singing Linda Belcher.
I'm a Tata and I'm gonna rock ya. I'm singing from the heart. I still got 2 out of 5. I still got 2 out of 5. I still got 2 out of 5 sexy parts. Woo!
A lot of people start making YouTube videos with visions of stardom. The dream has only come true so far for a relative handful, and John Roberts, who voices Linda, is one of them. His videos, such as The Christmas Tree and The Phone Call, in which he played overbearing older women, went viral and led to appearances on a number of shows playing those kinds of characters, such as on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, where he played the host's mother. That all led to a meeting with Loren Bouchard, and a role on Bob's Burgers playing a character much like the ones he created online. In 2015, Roberts became the first member of the Bob's Burgers cast to earn an Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance. The show's cast consists primarily of major players on the alternative comedy scene, such as Kristen Schaal, Dan Mintz, and Eugene Merman, along with voice acting legend H. John Benjamin. Also part of the cast is Academy Award-winning actor and theater star Kevin Kline. Bob's Burgers represents his first major voice work for a weekly animated TV series. They got him to join the cast in a very non-traditional way. Kline's grown children live in New York and go to a lot of comedy shows, and are big fans of Merman in particular. They brought their father along to some shows, and Kline and Merman got along. As it turns out, Kline's manager was friends with the Bob's Burgers casting director, so the show went out on a limb and asked him if he'd be interested in the recurring role of Bob's eccentric millionaire landlord, Mr. Fishoder.
The truth is, Bob, I was only raising the rent so you would notice me.
Really?
No, I wanted a pool. You can't get chicks with a hedge maze.
Sure, makes sense.
Kline read the script, thought it was funny, and accepted, to the apparent disbelief of the crew. Bouchard admitted, "I don't think any of us were prepared for him to say yes." The vast majority of animated TV series, past and present, do not record their actors doing their voice parts all at once. Rather, each individual actor goes into a recording studio and delivers lines one by one. Bob's Burgers is an exception. Audio for each episode is collected from the entire cast all at once. It's not quite a table read with microphones, or like shooting a live-action sitcom. Some of the actors live in Los Angeles, and some live in New York. So a high-quality ISDN line is used to unite everybody. But it is all done live, with the actors feeding off each other. This gives the show a realistic conversational feel, with plenty of room for improvisation, similar to Bouchard's previous natural-sounding series, Home Movies, and Dr. Kat's Professional Therapist. Even big celebrities popping in for an episode have to work this unique method of production into their busy schedules. Denizens of the internet have a number of theories about why youngest Belcher child Louise always wears bunny ears. It's never quite explained why. Maybe she has a bald spot she's hiding, or the hat allows her to hide from the world in some small way. The real reason is not so emotionally complicated. It was inspired by a manga, and later anime from Japan called Tekken Kincrete. Show creator Loren Bouchard explained, "There was a kid who had this little bear hat, and I like that weird combination of kid and animal, where they become an animal by always being seen wearing these little ears. You get a little cognitive dissonance, where you experience Louise both as a little girl and Bugs Bunny at the same time. That animal instinct is alive and well in Louise, as are references to Japanese pop culture in Bob's Burgers. One episode features an extended dream sequence tribute to Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro, a similarly Ghibli-inspired episode that takes place inside Louise's fever-riddled brain, and Bob and Louise's love of a series of Japanese martial arts films called Hawk and Chick.
I know we're fighting this seaweed monster right now, but I want you to know how much I love and support you, even if you decide, hold on. Hi-ya!
Whether or not it has something to do with one of those things, Bouchard mentioned on Twitter in 2018 that the true origin of Louise's bunny ear hat habit will be explained in Bob's Burgers, the movie, which hits theaters in July 2020. One of the most popular recurring features on Bob's Burgers is a daily burger special at Bob's Burgers. Bob always finds a way to incorporate new or special ingredients to make an interesting and tasty burger. In 2015, a Bob's Burgers fan named Cole Bowden started a blog called the Bob's Burgers Experiment. He dutifully recreated dozens of Burger of the Day specials based almost entirely on his own imagination and culinary skills. As on the show, the burgers were little more than brief passing background gags. In 2016, Bowden teamed up with the show's creative team to release an official cookbook, the Bob's Burgers Burger Book. Along with new illustrations and text from the Belcher family, it includes more than 70 real recipes, such as I Know Why the Cajun Burger Sings Burger, Sweaty Palms Burger, and Shootout at the Okra Coral Burger comes with fried okra. Hollywood is full of great actors, but it takes a special eye for talent to match performers to the right part. Casting is a major part of the undefinable magic of a great TV series. But the way Bob's Burgers creator Loren Bouchard assembled his cast was a little non-traditional and extremely optimistic. He wrote every main role with the actor who would ultimately voice those characters in mind. Bouchard told It's Nice that, "I've worked with John Benjamin, who plays Bob, for over 20 years. I've only ever done shows with John in them. I don't even want to know what it's like to do a show without him. I knew I wanted him as a dad, and we built the family around him." He thought the female voice John Roberts did in so many of his videos would work for Linda Belcher, and that Kristen Schaal just ought to be Louise. He's also worked with Gene's Eugene Merman before, and wanted to include him in the main family. The only cast member not pre-approved, Dan Mintz, who plays Tina, and was recommended by Benjamin. New art created by fans, inspired by and starring characters from their favorite TV shows is a wonderful thing, but Bob's Burgers producer and artist Tony Gennaro loves Bob's Burgers just as much as viewers do, and makes what might be described as fan art if he wasn't a member of the show's staff. You see, after each episode's script is written and printed out for a table read by the cast, Gennaro makes a special, original title page illustration. None of these images are based on actual stills or animation from the episode or any of its promotional materials. It's just an extra little bit of Bob's Burgers fun strictly for the people who make Bob's Burgers. They often mimic a movie poster, or pay homage to the well-known posters used to promote famous movies. Gennaro's title page for Uncle Teddy recalls the Uncle Buck one sheet, for example, while the seaplane art is a clear send-up of Top Gun imagery. Bob's Burgers seamlessly weaves the high with the low. Any given episode may present an earnest and emotionally honest plot about the importance of family and being a good person, but then give way to something like Tina Belcher dreaming about sexy zombies, or a song from Gene Belcher about the glory of passing gas, for example. This mix of high-minded and low-minded material is prevalent in an unexpected place, an overlooked bit of basic character information. The last name of the central characters is Belcher. Why did creator Loren Bouchard stick them with that? He told It's Nice that, first, First, the quote, silly stupid joke of the name appealed to him, but more importantly, it was to provide some kind of cultural identification. Bouchard explained, "My name is French-Canadian, and we wanted them to have some ethnicity, but couldn't settle on what. He and the writer selected a name that sounded at least a little French-Canadian, in addition to being a burp joke."
We're Belchers, from the womb to the tomb!
Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the bell so you don't miss a single one.